Welcome again, guys. Welcome to my channel. This is Trev from Trevescent. And this morning we are here. It's another morning when we do our reading. Usually in the mornings when I read in the mornings, I find that it is more refreshing. It's easier for me to remember what I've read. I know some people will say, "Oh, I'm not a morning person. I can't do stuff in the morning." But for me, I am a morning person, and waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and starting to read or starting to vacuum, to clean, to do stuff around the house is refreshing for me and more productive than waking up at 7 o'clock and starting my day then. When I wake up at 4 o'clock, I can do so many things. By the time 10 o'clock comes, I'll be done all that I'm doing for the day and be ready to do something else. But that is just me. So this morning I'm going to be reading this book. I read already the the Bible. I read the Bible already this morning, but for the next few days, we are only going to be reading like a half a chapters for maybe like 15 minutes because the book of the First Chronicles has only like a genealogy report, and we don't want to be bored reading the Bible, so we are just going to be reading it a bit by bit. And here for this morning, we have Shah Zayeb, and because Shah Zayeb is the first one to come into the live this morning, welcome to you, Shah Zaib, because you are the first one to come into the live. On my other device here, I'm going to be giving you some watch hours. Let's find your channel. Let's find your channel, Shah Zaib. And this is your channel right here. And let us see your playlist. Or you do not have a playlist, that is going to be a problem because you do not have a playlist. Shazayeb, could you go ahead and make your videos into a playlist so that when I hit your playlist, I can run your videos for watch so you can get watch hours. When I do my lives, the first three people who come into my live get watch hours for the duration of the live and beyond. As as long as I'm not using the devices. So you are the lucky person, the first lucky person this morning to have one watch hour. So now I'm just going to play your videos as I go along. When they stop, when one stops, I'll just play another. Um, I'd watched one yesterday with you lifting up, carrying like some reeds or something in the fields, like some grass or something like that. Now, today I'm seeing you. This is you riding a bike of some sort. So we're going to have that play right there and we're going to move along. So the next people who come into the live, where's my other phone? All right. So as we read along, the other people who come into the live will also be getting watch hours. Now, today we are going to be reading going to continue the reading of this book, Grace Under Fire. Now, we started reading this book over a month ago. We haven't picked it up in about 3 weeks, but now we are going to be reading it. Hold on a second, guys. I got a phone call. this. But anywho, let us continue, guys. All right, I'm back with you guys. I'm sorry about that. I had to take that important call, but I'm back with you now. Let us continue. Let us continue. For those of you who are just coming, don't forget to hit the like button. Currently, Shah Zaib, Shah Zaib is the one currently getting watch hours. If you are just coming into the live, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Remember, we must support each other. It is imperative that we support each other. They support us and we support them. That is how it goes. That's how the love is going to be spread around on YT, not just on YT, but on all internet platforms, wherever you are, you support others as they support you. All right. So we are going to be continuing the reading of the book Grace Under Fire, and we are currently on chapter 14. Isabel got a taste of exomania walking the gauntlet to the car. She likened the crazed fans surrounding the guards on all sides to an angry swarm of bees. Following instructions, she kept her head down and stared at the pavement while her unflappable escorts moved as a single unit through the shrieking crowd. It was sheer bedlam and a little bit terrifying. By the time she dove into the back seat of the car, she was trembling. Once they were on their way and Jax called, "All clear now," she was able to breathe. It's impossible to understand the mindset of a mob. Maybe they figured you were a friend of Xavier's. Who knows? She added. I'll warn you now, this was nothing compared to what's coming. Oh my, she whispered. What had she gotten herself into? She had never been so happy to see the bridge that would take her back to the island. And when Jax finally pulled into the drive of the Buchanan house, she was weak with relief. Did Xavier go over the schedule with you for tomorrow? Yes, she said. We twerked, we tweaked it a little bit. He wanted me at the arena by 1 o'clock. I talked him into a later hour. The Hamilton Hotel is just 15 minutes from the garden. I wanted you to pick up at I wanted you to pick me up at 6 o'clock, but Xavier wouldn't hear of it. He said traffic will be horrible at that time of the day, and if there was an accident, so we settled on you picking me up at 4 o'clock. I won't be late, she promised. Why the Hamilton, though? Xavier didn't want me to stay on the island. It's too far away from the garden. He suggested I stay at his hotel, but I'd rather stay at the Hamilton. The traffic around the garden is going to be horrible, Jack said. Fans like to get there early, even though there is assigned seating, and there will be a long line, at least three deep wrapped around the parking lot and the building by 5 o'clock. You need to understand what I call Xavier talk. Picking you up at 4 means I'll be there at 3. Okay, I'll be ready. Will you be bringing anyone with you? I have some friends and relatives at the concert, but I wasn't planning on bringing guards with me. Do you think I should? A few extra guards wouldn't be a bad idea. Tomorrow night's going to be chaotic. Then he laughed. That's an understatement. He insisted on opening the door for her. She thanked him and started up the drive. Don't worry about anything, Isabel, Jack called. Xavier will take care of you. Dylan was rounded the corner of the house and was holding his tackle box and fishing pole. He he propped both on the side of the steps and shouted to Isabel, Hold up! Hold up! He waited until she reached him and then said, You look shell-shocked. That's how I feel, she admitted. I need to talk to you, but I don't want the whole family there. Where is everybody? Dad's in his office working, he said. Theo and Michelle are upstairs. They said they wanted to call and check on the twins. Now that they have caught up on their sleep, I think Theo and Michelle are a little homesick. Everyone else is in the city. I've been fishing. Did you catch anything? He shook his head. It's too hot. Fish weren't biting. When do you want to talk? Let's meet in your father's office in an hour. He told me to interrupt him when I got back, but I've got to get this makeup off and change. You need a whole hour to do that? I need time to decompress, she admitted. Are you okay? He asked, worried now. I will be. He took her at her word. Okay, see you in an hour. Isabel planned to take a few minutes to clear her head and put her feet up, but that didn't happen. Because it was so beastly hot, she ended up getting in the shower, then changing into comfortable shorts, a sleeveless top, and tennis shoes. She thought she looked like a slob, but she was finally comfortable. She still couldn't unwind, though. Not until she had tomorrow's schedule completely organized. She went downstairs, knocked on the library door, and went in. Dylan was already there, sitting in a leather chair, talking to his father. Isabel told them about the rehearsal, but didn't go into much detail until she got to the harrowing walk back to the car. There was this crowd. They acted crazy, screaming at me and pushing. I kept my head down, but I did not see some of them. They weren't just teenage girls. There were also a lot of grown men and women. I can't imagine what it will be like tomorrow. There will be security, but it is suggested by Jax, the driver, that I bring someone with me. Xavier's guards are armed, she added, and I'm sure he'll see to my protection. You'll have guards with you? Dylan said. The judge nodded in agreement. We have enough men in this family who can go with you. As long as it's not. She stopped in time before she said Michael's name. So she does not want Michael to go with her. Why doesn't she want Michael to go with her? Michael has been playing these little love games with her. He's kissing her, he's teasing her, he is causing her to desire him, to want him. And then at that very moment, he's pulling away. And, last time we saw when he did that, she told him straight out, you have got to stop doing this. And I agree with her. It's either he's going to love her and show it, or he's going to just not continue to tease her like that. Let's continue. As long as it's not what? The judge asked. Too much of an inconvenience. Dylan, you are going to you're good at pushing back when someone pushes you, and I know Noah would do too. I'm good at pushing? He laughed. A commotion in the kitchen interrupted them. I guess everyone's back, Dylan said. We'll figure out the details and go over it with you later. Don't worry about anything. That's exactly what Xavier said to me, telling me he won't change anything. I'm still going to worry. She thought she sounded belligerent and apologized. Voices were getting closer, and she knew what was coming. Kate and the others would want to hear all about Xavier. Dylan followed her into the kitchen. I smell pizza. You are a Buchanan, Kate commented. It's your superpower. She and Laurent placed 5 giant pizzas on the island. Dylan didn't wait for an invitation. He opened a box and reached for a huge slice of pepperoni. We want to hear every word, Isabel, Laurent insisted. She pulled out a chair at the table and told her to sit. Start at the beginning and don't leave anything out. I am so excited to hear about Xavier. It's like, tell me about it, girl. Hold on. I want to ask Isabel a question first. How many tickets can we get? Kate wanted to know. I thought it would be nice to invite Michael's girlfriend, Amanda, and a couple of Jordan's friends. Dylan's eyes immediately darted to Isabel. Absolutely not, he said. Do not invite Amanda, or anyone else for that matter. Kate looked surprised. Why not? It's taking advantage of Xavier to ask for more tickets, Laurent requested. But guys, you see how this is? Now, Michael continues to tease Isabel with all his sexual gestures and kissing her and complimenting her and touching her and always showing up whenever she's having some me time. And because of that, Isabel is having these feelings for Michael that she's struggling with. And here, Michael has a whole girlfriend. So, this is how men oftentimes do. He has a whole girlfriend and he's here playing games with Amanda. Not good. But we are going to move on. We are going to move right along. And for my friend Shazaib who is here, Shazaib, your videos are running on my other device. Sister Winsome is here. Winsome, good morning. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let us continue. Winsome, I did the Bible reading this morning, but I only did for like 15 minutes or so because of the Book of Chronicles, because it's all that name calling stuff. So I just I said name calling because it was mostly names that I was reading. So I didn't want to be bored or bore anybody. So I only read for 15 minutes reading the names of the other half of chapter one. So this morning's reading wasn't too much. But Winsome, I missed you last night. Last night I shared a preaching, a sermon last night after we finished the live. I did another live for about an hour where I shared a sermon. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. You might want to go back and listen to it. Let us continue. Um, it's taking advantage of Xavier to ask for more tickets, Laurent guessed. Reagan nodded. It would be rude, Kate. Besides, I don't think she's his girlfriend. He never talks about her. Kate walked over to Dylan with a puzzled look on her face and he pulled her into his arms. Sometimes, honey, you are just oblivious, he whispered, and then he kissed her so she wouldn't ask any more questions. Isabel was mortified. Dylan's reaction to the mention of Amanda was to immediately look at her. It was obvious he somehow knew she had feelings for Michael. Great. Like Noah and Nick and Alec, all FBI agents. Dylan didn't miss a trick. He noticed every little thing, so she figured that the other men must know too. She felt like such a fool. Running away to avoid Michael wasn't the answer. She needed to get over him. Reagan noticed that she was staring off in space. Isabel, what are you doing? Smiling, she looked up and said, writing a song about Scotland and escape. The women didn't let the women didn't let her mull over her problems for long. They bombarded her with questions about XO. Michael walked in the door just in time to hear Isabel tell everyone how nice Xavier was to her. He's very handsome, she said, but not vain. He's considerate, too, she added. Michael took a bottle of beer from the refrigerator. He leaned against the counter and listened while the women grilled Isabel. Did he like you? Laurent wanted to know. I mean, did he like your voice? Yes, she said. Once my nerves cooperated, my voice got stronger. She added with a shrug. I guess he thought it was okay. She deliberately avoided looking at Michael while the barrage of questions continued. He wants to take me out on a date. He says it will take a lot of planning. I guess he gets hounded everywhere he goes. I can't imagine anything more awful being a superstar traps a person. That's the price you pay, Reagan said. Michael stood quietly listening to the conversation, and when there was a lull, he downed the last of his beer and turned to Dylan. What time are the McAllisters getting here? In a couple of hours, he answered. And yeah, I know, time to lock up our women. Michael nodded, smiling as he walked through the kitchen. He tugged on Isabel's ponytail as he passed her, especially this one. With a frown, Isabel spun in her chair. What was that supposed to mean, Michael? Once again, Michael was doing everything he could to irritate her. She opened her mouth to retaliate, but decided against it. Now, now was not the time for an argument. She turned back to the table where the women were making plans for her big night. Reagan offered her a suite at the hotel. Isabel was grateful, but told her that wouldn't be necessary. However, she would appreciate having the same room she had had before. Kate lined up a makeup artist and hairstylist to take care of Isabel. Jordan and Laurent weighed in on the issue of shoes. They insisted flats were out and heels were in. They would make sure the pair she decided on wouldn't slip when she walked across the stage. To accomplish that, Laurent ran upstairs to fetch a pair for Isabel to practice walking in. Isabel felt ridiculous wearing them around the house and down the drive to break them in. Thank goodness there weren't the 6-inch stilettos Kate wanted to buy for her, but the pair she had on were still awkwardly high. I don't know about you guys, but I am almost 6 feet tall, and wearing high heels sometimes make me uncomfortable. They feel elegant, make me feel confident, but also make me feel self-conscious because they make me tower over everybody else. After about an hour, she got used to them. In fact, they actually became comfortable. Who would have thought? Once she was back in her room and alone, she began to organize her wardrobe. Because she was such a neurotic warrior, she tried to anticipate every possibility. She checked and then checked again and then rechecked to make sure both the suit and the dress were in the garment bag she would take to the garden. And the garden is the place where the where she is singing with EXO. She didn't plan to change into her performance outfit until an hour or two before she went on stage. And if anything happened to it, she'd have the other to reserve. She even packed an extra pair of shoes. With all of those preparations completed, she moved on to her plans after Nathan's Bay. She needed to arrange for a driver to take her to the airport on Monday, which meant she would spend Sunday night at the hotel. She felt guilty that she had misled Dylan by agreeing to ask Damon to go with her. While she would love to see her good friend again, she never had any intention of inviting him along. Besides, she was perfectly capable of going to Scotland alone. As she was zipping her wardrobe bag closed for the last time, she heard voices coming from down below. She went to the window to look out. Everyone was outside by the pool, laughing and carrying on. The moon was bright, and when she checked the time, she was astonished at how late it was. She could hear the shower running in the bathroom and knew Michael was still inside. When the water stopped, she waited until she heard him leave the bathroom and go through the door to his bedroom before she tried the door on her side. It was locked, so she tried to enter the bathroom from the hallway. That door was also locked. She was about to knock and ask him to unlock them when the bedroom door opened and he stepped out. A towel draped around his neck and his hair still wet. He was dressed only in a pair of boxer briefs that rode low on his hips. She didn't need to see that. Please unlock the bathroom door on my side. I want to brush my teeth, she said, trying to act indifferent. Even though he turned around and did what she asked, she could tell from his expression that something was bothering him. He was wound up tight tonight. After brushing her teeth, she flipped off the bathroom light and went back into her bedroom, closing the bathroom door behind her. She had just pulled down the comforter on her bed when there was a knock on her door. She opened it to find Michael standing inches away. What? She hadn't intended to sound surly, but it was too late. I was going to ask if you were going down to the pool, but from your appearance, I'm guessing, not. What's wrong with my appearance? She took a step back and looked down at herself. Oops, she was dressed for bed. Never mind, she said, when he gave, oh my, hold on a second there, guys. Hold on just a second. Let me see. Let me see what this text is about. Because, hold on a second here, guys. Let's see. Okay, I got it. All right, guys. Let us continue the reading. I had to get that important message this morning. Let us continue. Never mind, she said when he gave her his "Are you kidding me?" look. She folded her arms across her chest and continued, I'm staying in. What about you? Are you going down to the pool? Maybe. You should, she said. He leaned against the door frame. Why? Because you are angry tonight. The hell I am. Michael realized how foolish he sounded the second the words came out of his mouth. He sounded as angry as he felt. The problem he was trying to work out had nothing to do with her. And yet she had somehow gotten right in the middle of it. And that didn't make any sense at all. You shouldn't be walking around dressed like that. She knew he was serious. I'm not going to walk around. I'm going to bed. She couldn't leave it alone. You know what, Michael? You are a giant pain in the backside, and I'm going to be very happy when I get away from you. Yeah? He walked her backwards into her room, shoving the door closed behind him. He was at it again, trying to intimidate her. He still hadn't caught on that it didn't work. She poked him in the chest. Yes. Isabel, you're a temptation and a hell of a distraction I don't need. Drawing back, she demanded, Was that an insult? You can't tell? She decided to be honest. No, I can't. He folded his arms and frowned. I know you'll be going to Scotland on Monday. And she prodded, I want to clear something up. She waited, but he didn't say another word for a long minute. Why was it taking him so long? She suddenly thought she knew what he was going to say. Hold on a second. I'm trying to give I'm trying to give Shazaib Lashari some watch hours, but he doesn't have a playlist. So I'm just having his videos play. And I have to be touching them one by one. Hold on a second there, guys. All right, let us continue. Let us continue. Where are we? I want to clear something up. She waited, but he didn't say another word for a long minute. Why was it taking him so long? She suddenly thought she knew what he was going to say. Oh, no, you don't. You'd better not be breaking up with me again. I'm not in the mood to hear it. What? No, that isn't it, he said. I just need to tell you something. Yes? You said I was smarter than you are. That isn't true. And it bothers me that you think it is. The fact is, you are a hell of a lot smarter than I am. And no, I'm not going to explain why. He turned to leave, and as he headed to the door, She stepped up behind him. Flattering isn't going to work on me. You are still a bonehead. Michael started to laugh, shaking his head. He spun around just as Isabel took a step forward and bumped into him. Instinctively, he reached out to her. With his arms wrapped around her, he responded. It wasn't flattery. It sounded like it is, but it wasn't. For the next few seconds, they stood pressed together, neither one of them moving. And then Isabel kissed the pulse at the base of his neck. He flinched. Stop that. You don't like it? Stop fooling around and let me get the hell out of here before I do something we'll both regret. Michael let go of her and stepped back. The problem was she wasn't letting go. He had to get out of her bedroom and away from her bed. The longer he stayed, the more difficult it became not to touch her. He admitted he loved being close to her. No other woman had this effect on him but Isabel. All she had to do was walk past him or smile at him, and every part of his body reacted. He kept telling himself it was nothing more than raw animal attraction, but that lie wasn't working any longer. Good night, then, she whispered. She leaned up and brushed her mouth against his. There wasn't anything wrong with a good night kiss. It was platonic, nothing more. But then he pulled her to him and kissed her, and it was anything but platonic. His mouth was hot, and his tongue made love to her as he lifted her, his pelvis pressed against hers. Michael had kissed her before, but nothing like this. His passion ignited her own, and Isabel suddenly couldn't get enough of him. She moved restlessly against him, her tongue dueling with his, and when he abruptly ended the kiss, she all but collapsed against him. Without a word, he pulled her hands away from him and walked out the door. Isabel dropped down on the bed and closed her eyes. Michael was turning her into a slut. She decided, and he didn't even know it. Trying to blame him for her behavior didn't work. She had all but attacked him. Yep, it was official. She was headed down the road to Trumpville. She laughed out loud at the absurdity of it all and was and she was beginning to accept the fact that she was letting her imagination get away from her. But then a line for a song came to her, and all she could think about was a melody. Unlike other times when she had been inspired with an idea, however, she didn't let herself dwell on it for long. She needed to get some sleep. Isabel had no idea what tomorrow would bring, but there was one thing she was certain of. It was either going to be a catastrophe or a miracle. Andrea is in the house. Andrea, welcome. How are you doing, my dear sister? Good to see you, my darling. Good to see you. We are here reading the book, Grace Under Fire by the lovely Julie Garwood. And this book sort of takes you on a roller coaster. It takes you high, then it takes you low. It takes you up, then it takes you down. Sometimes it gets a little bit boring. And then a love scene sort of ignites it, and you want to continue reading the book. And that's not a bad thing after all. But let's continue. We are on to chapter 15. You all know every day I read for at least an hour. I read something, doesn't matter what it is. I read for at least an hour. And so this morning, because we have read the Bible, um, we have read a short portion of the Bible. We are supplementing the daily read with the book Grace Under Fire. We started reading this book, I believe it was in April, maybe. We should have finished reading it already, but yeah, it got a little bit boring in the middle there, and nobody wanted to really listen to it. But here I am again reading it. We are on to chapter 15, and we are going to continue. This book has, I think, 42 chapters, and we are only on to chapter 15, so we do have a long way to go. Friday morning arrived and Isabel was freakishly calm. No one was more surprised than she was. She ate breakfast and kept it down. That was another surprise. Andrea said, "This is such a difference for the morning." Exactly. So early in the morning reading love story, huh? But it is, my love. Let's start chapter 15 again. Friday morning arrived and Isabel was freakishly calm. No one was more surprised than she was. She ate breakfast and kept it down. That was another surprise. A little before noon, Alec packed the car and drove her and Regan to the Hamilton. Ignoring Isabel's wishes, Regan put her in a large one-bedroom suite. It was quite beautiful and spacious, with a panoramic view of the Charles River in the distance. The living room was done in blacks and greys, with upholstered furniture throughout, and it was separated from the bedroom by a pair of French doors. The bedroom was a mixture of muted greys. On the king size bed was a soft plush down comforter and luxurious white linens. The bathroom, all in white marble, was almost as big as the bedroom. "I don't need all this room," Isabel protested. "People will be coming and going," Regan reminded her. "Hair and makeup will be here shortly, and Vera is coming up in case you need something pinned or tucked. I don't know if that is Vera Wang, but Vera is the dressmaker. So yes, you do need this much room." She made the comment while she helped one of the maids hang up Isabel's clothes and unpack her bag. Isabel wasn't used to being pampered. It was sweet and thoughtful of Regan to move her into a suite, and Isabel was grateful. "You didn't have to go through all this trouble, but I really appreciate it." "Thank you, Regan." "We are happy to help," Regan replied. "Aren't we, Alec?" "Of course we are," her husband agreed as he took the empty bag Regan handed him and set it in the back of the closet. Isabel watched Regan for a minute and then said, "You are so normal." "Who is normal?" Alec asked. "Your wife," Isabel answered. "She and her brothers own all the Hamilton hotels, and she's unpacking for me. It's just so normal." Alec laughed. "Regan's a lot of things, but normal isn't one of them." "Hey, hey, hey!" Regan protested. "Darling, if you were normal, you never would have married me." "Good save," she told her husband. The couple was so oddly paired, Isabel thought. Regan was a beautiful Polish woman who felt at home in her elegant hotel, and Alec was rather scruffy looking and admittedly a bit of a slob when he was off duty, neither of which bothered Regan in the least. Alec was growing his hair longer. It covered his ears now for another undercover assignment. And with the beginning of a beard, he could be downright scary if you met him in a dark alley. He was also a teddy bear, she knew, and he loved his wife with a passion. Oddly paired, but perfect for each other. They were so comfortable and so at ease. Isabel hoped some of their calm would pass on to her and loosen the knot that had been gripping her stomach. Regan stopped what she was doing and glanced at Isabel, who sat on the edge of her chair, her back ramrod straight. Was she so rigid she looked as though she were about to shatter? "Are you okay, Isabel?" she asked. "I'm fine," Isabel insisted. "Oh, okay, Isabel, here's the schedule," Alex said. "Noah, Nick, and Michael are going with you whenever Xavier's driver gets here. Jax, Jax told me he's supposed to be here at 4, but Xavier will probably send him early. Why do I need 3 men to go with me? Wouldn't 2 be enough?" Michael insisted on 3, Alex said. "Actually, he wanted 4, but I talked him down to 3. Kate and the others will be here around 5, he told her. Dylan's, dr- Dylan's driving them. They'll hang out in the suite until it's time to go. Reagan and I will wait here for them." There was a knock on the door, and Alec went to answer it. He came back in the living room with Michael, who was carrying his gym bag. Without comment, Alec took it from him and put it in the guest closet. Isabel tried not to react to Michael. He was wearing a suit and looked even more handsome than usual. How was that possible? Reagan drew her attention. Kate wanted to come with us, she said, but she's very nervous about tonight and she doesn't want her nerves to rub off on you. That's funny. She's usually the calm one, Isabel said. I called Kiera and actually got through to her. She said she said it to one she said to no one in particular. Shocked the socks off my sister when I told her I was performing with Xavier. Turns out she loves him too. It's too bad she can't be here, remarked. It's okay. She'll be able to see me on YouTube. They're going to put the concert on YouTube? Alec asked. That might be right. But she said, that can't be right. They'll put it on when I screw up. It will be all over the internet. Exasperated, Michael said, you are not going to screw up. She stood, then sat again, then stood up, then sat again. She couldn't remember what she was supposed to do now. What's wrong? Do I get undressed now and then get dressed after makeup and hair? Or do I get dressed first? She asked, trying with all her might to sound composed and in control. And I also wonder, um, she leapt to her feet. What in God's name am I doing? Her voice escalated to a near hysterical shout. I can't go on stage and sing. I should never have. You are going to be great, Alec promised her. Reagan nodded. You'll sing your songs and everyone will cheer. You already have millions of followers on the internet, she reminded. Think of it, Isabel. Millions, she exclaimed dramatically. You are a sensation, and everyone in the garden is going to love you. Isabel was frantically shaking her head. I don't think I can do it. 20,000 people will be there, and I just can't. Panic was grabbing a hold of her in a big way. Both Reagan and Alec tried to talk her down, but Michael went another way. Snap out of it, Isabel, he ordered. Apparently, Michael wasn't one to coddle. Oh, that's comforting, she muttered. You want comforting? Go to my mother. She'll comfort the hell out of you. Yeah, she will, Alec agreed. They were serious. The idiots weren't joking. Isabel looked at Reagan, and then both of them began to laugh. Isabel was still laughing when she went into the bedroom and closed the French doors. For the next 2 hours, the professionals transformed Isabel into a superstar. At least that's what Reagan kept telling her they were doing every time Isabel tried to get the stylist to hurry up and finish. Michael interrupted when he knocked on the door. Detective Samuel is on the phone. He wants to talk to you. Isabel, wrapped in a robe, ran to the door and opened it. I can't go to the station for another interview now. Make him understand, Michael. I can't imagine what other questions he has. Surely he can wait until. She finally noticed that Michael was shaking his head. What is it? Now remember, the detectives would want to talk to Isabel because the investigation pertaining to the man she shot may not be over. So probably that's why this detective wants to talk to her again. He wants to ask a favor. She took Michael's phone but held it against her chest as she whispered, Did you tell him I can't go to the station? Yes, I told him. Frowning at Michael, she answered the phone. Hello, Detective Samuel. What can I do for you? The detective hemmed and hawed, and she could hear what sounded like excited teenagers screaming in the background. I just found out that you will be performing with EXO tonight. Is that correct? She automatically straightened her shoulders at the sound of his voice. Yes, she answered, wondering how he had heard. I really I really hate to ask, but my daughters are big fans of yours, and when they heard that you'll be singing with EXO, hold on, he said. She could tell he had cupped his hand over the phone because his voice went muffled, but she could still hear him ordering his daughters to quiet down. Are you there, Isabel? She decided to get to the point for him. How many tickets do you need? Three, he told her, relief in his voice. Okay, I'm sure Xavier has a few extras. They'll be at the will call window for you. If you run into any problems, contact Michael. He's going with me, and he'll have his phone with him. Thank you, he said. Before he could end the call, she blurted, wait, I'd like to ask you a question. Yes? Have you learned why Walt was in Boston? Now, Walt is the police officer from Miami. Walt is the police officer from Miami who was the subject of the attempted murder that in which Isabel intervened. For those of you who have been listening to this story from the beginning, you would have heard me read about Walt. Let us continue. Have you learned why Walt was in Boston? We are working on it, he replied. Walt still isn't awake. Yes, I know. I talked to the nurse on duty this morning. She told me his stats are improving and they expect him to wake up any time now. She noticed Michael smiling when she told the detective that she had talked to the nurse. I'll keep you informed, Samuel promised. Isabel thanked him and ended the call. Handing the phone back to Michael, she said, please don't let me forget. Detective Samuel needs 3 tickets. Shall we get back to work? Reagan suggested. She pulled Isabel back into the bedroom, smiled at Michael, and shut the door in his face. The transformation continued. The blue sequined top was more low-cut than Isabel remembered, but Vera made sure it wouldn't shift or slip, no matter how much Isabel moved. Reagan tried to ease her concerns. It isn't a plunging neckline. It's just that you're a bit over-endowed, she explained. Now stop worrying about it. You are very decent. Why you could wear why you could wear that top to church? Isabel laughed. And get hit by lightning? She was prodded back into the chair by one of the stylists, who insisted on wrapping a flesh-colored bandage around her upper arm to hide her stitches. Isabel didn't object, although she thought it wasn't necessary since she had been wearing a jacket and she planned to wear one tonight. While they were working on her, she received 3 phone calls from the extremely annoying James Reed. She ignored all of them, sending them to voicemail. He wasn't giving up. If he thought he could wear her down and persuade her to sell Glenn McKenna's land to his Patterson group just to be rid of him and stop his harassment, he was mistaken. Now, this James Reed was a guy over there in Scotland who insisted on purchasing the land that Isabel had just inherited from her uncle. He insisted on purchasing it from her, but she was hell-bent on keeping it. Each time he called, she became more inclined to sell the property to anyone but him. Isabel, the stylist wants your attention, Reagan said when Isabel didn't answer a question. Back to the business of trying to turn her into a superstar. Are we almost finished? Almost, Reagan assured her. Reagan packed her heels and other necessities and carried the bag into the living room. Worried she had forgotten something Isabel might need, Reagan paced the front of the windows while she went over the list again and again. Nick and Noah had arrived, and they, along with Michael and Alec, watched her pace until Alec finally anchored her with his arm around her shoulders. A few seconds later, the hotel phone rang. Reagan rushed to answer it. Lemo's here, she announced. Should we hurry Isabel along? No, Michael answered. She'll come out when she's ready, unless she makes a run for it, Alex said. Michael grinned. I already thought of that possibility, but this is the only way out of the bedroom, and the windows don't open this high up. 10 minutes passed, then 10 more, and finally the bedroom doors opened, and Isabel, transformed for the stage, walked into the living room. Reagan gasped when she saw her. "You are stunning, Isabel." With all the work done on her, she should be stunning, she thought. "Thank you." The men were gaping at her, and she immediately felt self-conscious. After a long minute of silence, she decided to use everyone's favorite go-to command: "Snap out of it." Michael spoke up. "Are you ready to leave? The driver is here." Since he was closest, she handed him her room card and her cell phone. Nick carried the garment bag Reagan had packed. "We'll see you there," Reagan called from the doorway. "If you need anything, just text me." Fortunately, the elevator was empty. When the doors closed, she turned to her three escorts. "Thank you for giving up your Friday night to help me," she said. Oh my, Jamaica Overseas is here. Jamaica Overseas TV. How are you doing, my brother? So good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in to the live. Thank you so much, my dear, for coming in. Let me, yes, you are the second content creator to come into the live. You are the second content creator to come into the live. And so let's go on to, let's give you some watch hours. I probably have watched all your stuff already, but love can never be too much. Jamaica Overseas TV. How comes me can't find it? You should be close to the top, because I was watching Maya's Way. All right, Jamaica Overseas TV. Okay, there you are. Jamaica Overseas TV. Let's see what we have watched so far. Let's go to your playlist. You have baking, cooking videos on your playlist. Lord Jesus, I've watched all of them already. I forget that I run you the other day for a while. Let me play you. I mean, love can never be too much. Who wants some? I'm willing to share. Let me see what this you're going to share now. All right, there you are. You say you're willing to share. So how come you're not close to me? Oh my God, what you and the mango them know? I saw me share the love. That's how I share the love, my dear. So you see, when I'm laying here and I'm doing something, I have all of these devices running. I think of my friends and I look on my comments and I see somebody comment and I just start running their channel, running their playlist. Love don't have to be loud, it just have to be real. So welcome here, guys. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all so much. I sincerely appreciate you all. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. We are reading this morning the book from Julie Garwood, Grace Under Fire. So come, listen while I read and let's enjoy it together. All right, let's continue. Nick and Noah had arrived, and they, along with Michael and Alec, watched her pace until Alec finally anchored her with his arms around her shoulders. A few seconds later, the hotel phone rang. Okay, we read there already. We read there already. A few seconds later, the hotel phone rang. Reagan rushed to answer it. "Lemo is here," she announced. "Should we hurry Isabel along?" "No," Michael answered. "She'll come out when she's ready. Unless she makes a run for it," Alex said. Michael grinned. I already thought of that possibility. But this is the only way out of the bedroom, and the windows don't open this high up. 10 minutes pass, then 10 more, and finally the bedroom doors opened, and Isabel, transformed for the stage, walked into the living room. Reagan gasped when she saw her. You are stunning, Isabel. With all the work done on her, she should be stunning, she thought. Thank you. The men were gaping at her, and she immediately felt self conscious. After a long minute of silence, she decided to use everyone's favorite go to command snap out of it. Michael spoke up. Are you ready to leave? The driver is here. Since he was closest, she handed him her room card and her cell phone. Nick carried the garment bag Reagan had packed. We'll see you there, Reagan called from the doorway. If you need anything, just text me. Fortunately, the elevator was empty. When the doors closed, she turned to her three escorts. Thank you for giving up your Friday nights to help me, she said. We are not giving anything up, Isabel, Noah told her. We want to be here. Flanked by Noah and Michael, Isabel crossed the lobby, and Nick followed behind. Michael was proud of her. He knew she was scared, but she wasn't letting it show now. She walked like she owned the world. There was there was such attitude in the way she moved, and those hips. Damn. Then he noticed he wasn't the only one appreciating Isabel. It seemed to him that every man in the lobby was watching her. And why wouldn't they? She was beautiful and desirable. Jamaica Overseas says, I have some new stuff out, just going to put them in my playlist. Okay, no problem. I'm watching you here making something. What is you making with mango and magnum, rum, pineapple? Hey, what kind of strong back this you're making here, Jamaica Overseas? Oh my word. Look, I can get stuff from Jamaica, man. Wow. What they are nutmeg and all these things. Hey, somebody I got pay for roast and boil when you drink all of that. All right, let us continue, my friends. Great. Hell if he wasn't lusting after her again. Michael, she whispered his name. Yes. Stop glaring. Her hand brushed against his. She didn't grab hold. He did. He slipped his fingers through hers and gave her a little squeeze. I've got your bottle of water, he told her, then turned to take the bottle from Nick. This is all you drink. Understand? You don't drink anything anyone else gives you. She thought he was being a little overprotective and suspicious, but then she noticed Noah was nodding in agreement. You're going to be okay, Michael said. He leaned down and whispered, I'm not going to let anything happen to you. I know. As annoying as Michael could be sometimes, she always felt safe with him. He would never let anyone hurt her. Uh-oh. She could feel herself getting teary-eyed. She didn't dare cry, not with all the eye makeup she had on. She wasn't sure what to do. She liked Michael more than she was fighting with him, but he was being nice to her now. A rare occasion, to be sure, and that was why she was becoming emotional, she reasoned. Now was not the time to fall apart. She needed to put a stop to it before he said something really sweet. What just so? You say I get them from Jamaica. Yeah, me realize here. You say I get them from Jamaica. Lucky you. Lucky you. Anybody there here from Florida? Anybody is there from Florida? People from Florida, I'm collecting dried mango seeds. Please don't dash away the mango seed them. When you eat them, when I eat enough mango down there, please don't dash away the seeds. Dry them and let me know how I can pay you if you mail them to me or maybe pick them up if you are in Florida. So please, people, don't save the mango seed them to me. Me need mangoes, but right now me need the seeds more than the mangoes. All right, let us continue. Uh-oh, she could feel herself getting teary-eyed. She didn't dare cry, not with all the makeup she had on. She wasn't sure what to do. She liked Michael more than she was fighting with him, but he was being nice to her now, a rare occasion. But to be sure, and that was why she was becoming emotional, she reasoned. Now was not the time to fall apart. She needed to put a stop to it before he said something really sweet. Then it came to her, Michael, you are going on stage with me when I sing. His answer was swift. The hell I am. Are you out of your mind? Why in God's name would you think I would be on stage with you? But I thought, oh hell no. He was glaring at her now, and things were back to normal. Oh my God. Jamaica overseas say, I wish, but no one now. Now, but I hope one day soon. Well, well, store it up in your back until she come by. Help my soul, Lord. Why not make trip to Jamaica? You will get enough. Lord Jesus, Andrea, we can't care about the mango seed them come back from Jamaica. Yeah, we can't carry them come back. But that's what I really do need. I need some mango seeds. Everybody who is in Jamaica, who is in Miami, in Florida somewhere, if you come on my channel, please, 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 yeah, we're collecting mango seeds. Green Nation is in the place. Bless up a nice clean self, Green Nation. How are you doing? All right. How you doing, Green Nation? Good to see you. Good to see you. And with that, Green Nation is the third content creator to come into the live. So may I go run Green Nation on my Steel News account? Yes, Green Nation on my Steel News account. Let's go to Green Nation. Let me see if I subscribe to Green Nation on this on my Steel News. Because only some people me subscribe to on Steel News. Green Nation. Let me see. Uh, the Green Nation, the Green Nation. Oh, I'm not subscribed to you upon this in a Green Nation. So let me give it to you. See you right there, so. All right, that is Green Nation and your playlist. The 1 year success. Go and run right there, so. And just like that, yeah. And just like that, see there, so Green Nation is running. Green Nation is running on one device, Jamaica Overseas TV on the other, and watch it so. And my friend here, Shahaza. Oh, let me turn you down here. So, all right, there we go. All right. So my friend Shazaid is running on one, Green Nation on one, and Jamaica Overseas on the other. Just like that. And here I am using this other one to do the reading. Welcome, guys. Happy Tuesday to you all. Seems you're hot enough. Say we hot this year. And what am I gonna do for you always? But we wicked this year. Not even water can cool we. Oh my God. Green Nation, how you doing, my brother? Happy, 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 happy day to you. Jamaica is Jamaica, Green Nation, Jamaica. It's been a while. I haven't visited your channel. I was off YouTube for a while. So I'm back now to catch up on all the connect to. Yeah, bless up a nice clean self, Green Nation. She blasted. What's up with you, Jamaica Overseas? What's up with you? All right. So we are going to be continuing with the reading, guys. I hope you all are enjoying the reading of Grace Under Fire by Julie Garwood. I must say, Green Nation. Right now, North Carolina is the heat is heating, believe you me. It is warm. I haven't gone out to my garden yet this morning, but I'm gonna finish the reading at around 8:30, then take you all out to my garden, and then I'm gonna fix up the front of the yard, continue the fixing up at the front of the yard before the sun gets too hot. Yeah. Chapter 16 of the book Grace Under Fire. I know they're burning. Fire, fire. The good organic vegetable them right overseas. Yeah, when my plant in the backyard. The good vegetable when plant in the backyard. They must show up on me all over. All over, I tell you guys. Chapter 16 we are on. Chapter 16 of 42. We are not even halfway through the book yet. You know, ingredient. You can't come, you can't get vegetable. I have kale, I have lettuce, I have carrots. I told you all I was going to do a live today to show you all me reaping carrots. I have carrots, I have beets, I have beans and peas and lots of other things. And guys, we plant some cocoa. We plant some cocoa and four of the plants are coming nicely. So overseas, you come from country, and when they reap cocoa, how long cocoa take to bear? And how do you know when there is cocoa underneath it? Cause me know so when we there Jamaica, we just cocoa they grow at the pipe side, and one day we just dig it up. Me don't know how long it there, we just dig it up. The leaf them get really big, and then you root it up one day, dig it up, and you get a whole heap of cocoa. That's all me know. Mommy tell me say I must about 10 months. So wanna tell me, Trev, I stopped in your country a few times on connecting flights. Oh really? In my country. You're talking about my country, in North Carolina. I really my country for true. Let us move on. Chapter 16. I don't know. Green. Yeah, man, my garden go on with itself. It a go on with itself. And out of the front here, so I'm going to plant some ginger and some turmeric. Yeah, I'm gonna put those ornamental plants right out in the front. So that's yeah, that's what I'm going to plant in the front. I'm gonna cut down these trees here because we don't want the Ipa leaf them. The Ipa leaf them keep dropping. Or you go by the looks of the leaf. So when the leaf dry up, that's when you reap it. Cause me not sure, me not know. But them have a long way to go still, cause I only planted them a few months ago. Maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 6 weeks or so ago. I planted them, so we will wait and see. I mean, it was a cocoa like a whole heap of water, but for me, them they only get water when we go out there when it rains, and it's not raining too much. No, it's not the rainy season, but we will wait and see. Oh yeah, North Carolina is beautiful. I guess lots of vegetation, lots of greenery. It is beautiful. Let us continue. Chapter 16. The ride. Who does that call me? Hmm, hold on, gentle people. All right, let us continue. Chapter 16. The ride to the garden seemed to take forever. Jax, you weren't exaggerating. There's already a huge crowd in line. They're everywhere. Getting you inside is going to take muscles. I've got plenty of that, he said. Her phone buzzed with a text. Michael pulled her cell phone out of his pocket and handed it to her. She noticed our hands. He noticed our hands shook and opened the text for her. It's from one of Xavier's assistants, telling you 3 tickets are in an envelope with Detective Samuel's name on it at the will call window. I sent the text requesting tickets while my hair was being curled, she explained. Now I have one less thing to worry about. Okay, here we go. Jax called out. He turned the corner and headed to the back entrance. The car was almost swallowed up by screaming fans, both male and female. There were so many, the car actually rocked. They think Xavier is in here, Isabel said. Jax, you'd have a better chance of sneaking past the crowd if you weren't driving a limo, Nick said, stating the obvious. Michael agreed. This is a beacon. The windows aren't just tinted, they are also bulletproof, Jax told him. There is that, Noah said. If you want to get people out of your way, you should let Isabel drive. Michael suggested. Now, we all know how Isabel drives. She drives like a mad woman. Oh, Jamaica overseas all along. I thought you went from well overseas. I talk about Florida a lot because that's where I consider home in America. Yeah, I have been in America for 20 some years, and Florida is where I landed. And so Florida is where my family is, and Florida is where I consider home. I'm just a transplant in North Carolina for now. Is that Jojo? Good morning, Jojo. How are you doing, my love? So good to see you. Bless up yourself. Bless up yourself, Jojo. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, let me see. Jamaica Overseas said, join me in the kitchen. OMG. All right. All right. So you might not see me comment on your videos because I won't be commenting while I'm reading. I won't be commenting, but just know that your videos are running. Green Nation is running on the Stale News account. Shazaib is running on one device, and Jamaica Overseas TV is running on another, and I'm using this one to do the live. Trev, when last you went home in, as in where? Home as in Jamaica, home as in Florida? There's a saying that said, anywhere your first and is home for you. Exactly, Green Nation. Yes, so that's why I consider Miami to be home. That's I consider Miami to be home. That's where I land in America. So that's where my home is. And if you're talking about going home to Miami, I go home to Miami at least every 2 months or so. Sometimes more often. It's what now, June. I went home. I went home in, was it April? I think I went home in April. Yeah, and I'm going home again sometime this month, and then in July, and then in August again, and then in October. Yeah, I'm going home. I'm going home to see my family. Yeah, and my friends. Right? Yeah. But home to Jamaica. I'm moving to North Carolina next week. Hurry up and come. Cause me there North Carolina. I don't have any. I have a few people, friends, but there are people that I work with. I don't have anybody like, yeah, me not have nobody in North Carolina. Me there, I me cook by myself. Me cook, me not have no Jamaican to share it with. Jamaicans we appreciate where you cook, and if if it not cook too right, if something missing, a Jamaican will say, you need put little so and so in a this or so. Americans, them not really understand the thing. So, oh my gosh. So a lot of Jamaican food, them not really into it because them not really know it. You understand? You can't cook like a roast breadfruit, fry up roast breadfruit and mackerel get them. Them no, yeah. But if it's a Jamaican now, if me have a Jamaican friend, yeah, we could have sit down right here so in the morning, yeah, so eat some roast breadfruit, come here, breadfruit in the fridge, could have fry up some roast breadfruit with a tin boom. And we could have sit down and eat, drink some soursop leaf tea and chat about all times. You don't know what I mean? But me not a Jamaican for share them look something there with. So I have to come on here and share it with you all. Yeah, that me have to do. All right. So let us move right along. We know the drill, Nick told him. Are you ready to have some fun, Isabel? She nodded. I'm ready. Noah exited the car first and held the door open. Then Michael got out with Isabel, holding her close to his side. Nick led the way through the guards, who quickly surrounded all of them. The screaming and cheering had intensified, making conversation impossible. Isabel walked with her hands down at her sides. She wasn't about to hold on to anyone. Once inside, she strode down the hallway with her heels clicking against the concrete floor, following two guards leading the way to Xavier. It seemed there was twice the number of staff members inside the suite this time, and everyone was busy on a phone. The room with all the activity resembled a call center. It was hectic, but happy, for everyone was smiling. Isabel could feel the energy. She couldn't remember anyone's name, so she said hello to them all. Several waved to her. Others smiled and nodded while they continued their conversations on their phones. Jamaica overseas said me make some of that yesterday. Fried breadfruit. Ah, just for the furniture, so I'm going to run home. I'm a blessed one. I'll check in when I'm home. No problem, my love. Be safe. Be safe. All right. Jamaica overseas when the last time I got Jamaica. I haven't been to Jamaica since 2018. I've been to Jamaica since 2018. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going anytime soon. But anyway, she couldn't remember anyone's name, so she said hello to all of them. Several waved to her, others smiled and nodded while they continued their conversations on their phones. A young woman, Isabel did remember, pushed forward to greet her. Oh my God, Isabel, you look gorgeous. Wait until Xavier sees you. This is Amy. She told her escorts. She's part of Xavier's creative team, and she wanted to give me a nickname. Did you come up with a good one? I did, but Xavier wouldn't hear of it. Is he here? Yes, but he's on the phone doing an interview. He'll be out in a bit. Isabel remembered her manners and introduced Michael, Nick, and Noah to Amy. She noticed most of the women in the room were staring at the men, and she couldn't blame them. They were mighty fine looking. Who wouldn't stare? She was no longer the focus, and that was just fine with her. It removed some of the pressure she was feeling. She even managed to smile, a real smile that wasn't forced. An older gentleman who seemed to be in charge came forward to shake hands and introduce himself. His name was Paul Emerson, and he was Xavier's agent. He had a smooth way about him. All are all three of you FBI agents? Nick answered, No, just Noah and I are agents. Emerson turned to Michael. I noticed you aren't armed. No, I'm not. But you are one of Isabel guards tonight, aren't you? Yes, I am. Isabel couldn't resist. Take a good look at him, Mr. Emerson. Do you think he needs a weapon? Nick laughed. I can assure you he doesn't. Emerson looked confused. You have no reason to be concerned. Isabel said to clarify. He'll watch out for me. Noah had a bit of a devil in him. You'll be fine too, he said, as long as you don't piss him off. Yeah. He's got a temper, Nick drawled. Exasperated, Isabel explained. They think they're funny. Emerson seemed to take it all in stride when he turned back to Isabel. You forgot to take the legal papers for your attorney to look over. I have them here. Isabel took the folder and handed it to Michael, who handed it to Nick to put in her bag. Isabel thought she had hours to wait, but when she checked the time, she was shocked. There was less than an hour before the concert started. Nick and Noah left to get the lay of the land, and as soon as the door was opened, she could hear the audience chanting EXO's name and stomping their feet in rhythm. She took a drink of water from the bottle Michael offered her and handed it back. She wanted to pace, but there wasn't room. Xavier came out about 10 minutes later. He wasn't dressed in anything glittery, but then she didn't expect he would be. The mere thought was inconceivable. Glitter wasn't her style. He wore black pants and a crisp long sleeved white shirt. It was unbuttoned at the neck, and the sleeves were rolled back at the wrist. His only jewelry was a watch, and even that wasn't fancy. His shoes were his signature. Xavier always wore white tennis shoes on stage, and tonight was no exception. He obviously chose comfort over the latest style, which made her like him even more. He spotted Isabel across the room and headed towards her. The way he looked at her with such warmth in his eyes made her heart skip a beat. They met each other in the middle of the room. Then he hugged her, and that was when she carefully turned her face away so she wouldn't get makeup on his shirt. Hey! Oh, you do a trip to Jamaica right now? Why is it? Oh, how much yard you have. So you live here so? You live there so? Ay! Yes, me live everywhere, Jojo. Me live everywhere. Oh, you do a visit to Jamaica. A Rolling Stone gather no man. Well, let me roll along. Let me roll along. Let us continue. After greeting her, he draped his arm around her shoulders. Paul, what do you think? Was I right? He asked his agent. Yeah, you were right. Paul called back from the other side of the room. She really is lovely. Isabel didn't like them discussing her as though she weren't there. She pulled away from Xavier and introduced him to Michael. The two men shook hands and started talking, and within minutes they acted like best friends. They both had the same twisted sense of humor. Watching them, Isabel had an epiphany. Michael should be charming. Xavier acted as though he had all the time in the world to chat. Then Noah and Nick returned to the suite and joined the conversation. Isabel kept checking the time. She noticed Xavier didn't look at her watch, at his watch once. She couldn't understand how he could be so relaxed. She said she went into the other room to warm up her voice, then reapplied her lipstick and walked back to Michael and took a drink from the bottle of water. She couldn't pay attention to the conversation. She was too busy trying not to freak out about what was soon going to happen. Now, guys, um, Isabel, Isabel is trapped between two men. Remember, she likes Michael. Michael likes her. They have been petting and making out. And also, from the first time she had met EXO, she liked him. He really likes her. Oh, you say me due for go to Jamaica? Me not due for nothing. Only thing me due for right now is for go eat some mango and get some gardening work done. Not due for go Jamaica at all. Not at all. Then Jamaica overseas. Oh, you look so familiar. How me know where you're from? Which part of Jamaica you come from? Oh, you look so familiar. You look familiar. You look like me about nice same age group. But your face certainly look like me know you from somewhere. Your face look like you look familiar to me now. I don't know where me know you from. I don't know which part of Jamaica me know you from, but you look familiar to me. Me see your face somewhere before. I mean one in my dream. OMG. All right, but we're going to continue reading. Almost 20,000 people. Oh my God. 20,000. Michael leaned down and whispered in her ear, You are going to be great. She looked into his eyes. You think? I know. She almost believed him. It's time, Xavier. One of the staff members called. Okay, then, Xavier said. Are you ready, Isabel? He didn't give her time to panic. He simply took hold of her hand and led the way. He indicated with a tilt of his head for Michael, Nick, and Noah to come with them. Isabel couldn't keep up with his long legged strides, and when Xavier noticed that she was all but running, he slowed his pace a bit. We are going to have a good time tonight. He saw the look on her face and laughed. I promise. The closer they got to the arena, the louder the chant got. EXO! 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 Xavier stopped at the entrance to the stage, let go of her, and winked at her. He was quickly fitted with a mic so that he could move around with his hands free. On cue, the band started to play one of his songs, and the audience immediately quieted. The air was thick with excitement. Xavier walked out, and the crowd went wild. They settled down as soon as he started to sing. He was, simply put, magnificent. He hypnotized the audience, held them in the palm of his hand, all with his amazing voice. Michael stood beside Isabel and waited, and then it was her turn. Xavier surprised her. All of a sudden, a clip from the video of Isabel singing at Finnegan's appeared on the giant screen above the stage. The audience watched and cheered when Xavier said, "We all know her from the video that became a viral sensation this week. Now you get to meet her and listen to her sing for you." He put his hand out and simply called her name, Isabel. She took a deep breath. "You have got this," Michael told her. She nodded, accepted the mic from the assistant, and walked onto the stage. Aha! There you go. Isabel is on her way to becoming a huge star. Isabel is singing with EXO, who is already a musical sensation, and now Isabel is getting her shot at stardom. Now, that is going to be the end of the reading for this morning. That is the end of the reading of Grace on the Fire by Julie Garwood. For those of you who have come into the live, I hope you all hit the like button, share out the live stream, invite your friends and your friends to come on over into the live. Each morning, I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you who came in. And for my content creators, you all know the drill. The first three content creators that come into the live, each time I have a live, those three persons get watch hours to run while I am on the live. That's one of the surest way to get watch hours is to be the first content creator, the first among the first three content creators to come into each of my lives. So you can get some hours. Okay? Because otherwise, when Aunt Trev is so busy, I do not get the time to support everybody as much as I would love to. As much as I try, some people still get falls through the crack, and that is understandable. All right, so that's going to be it, my friends. Until next time. Until next time, this is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Have a great day, guys.